and just recently on July 2nd, he sent a petition into the court to withdraw his guilty plea and to reopen his case. So he's going that there could have been possibly another, either Bryan and somebody else or somebody else completely.
After you didn't hear anything, you didn't go check on them?
Right. You called your other guy friend to come over instead of the police. Like, that was their first call instead of the police, which is weird to me. I don't understand, like, his motive.
Yeah, no,
like
no
that's
one does.
Yeah, no one understands the motive.
It's the whole reason why he took the guilty plea, so he didn't have to tell anyone.
Right. And so that's why I'm like, how, now that he reopened or is trying to reopen his case, like, how, I just gonna be so crazy to see how that plays out. Hey guys, welcome to Girl Did You Hear?
The ultimate bestie hangout. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Kristen. Today is episode 92. And trucking along as
almost
usual.
to 100.
Yes. Is someone gonna come in here and pop a little thing for us when we have our 100th episode?
Jump scares. Like, this isn't, no.
Okay, I'll have to add it in post then.
Right, yeah, there you go.
If you are new here, we are here every Thursday, and we'd love for you to hit that like and subscribe, maybe share with a friend. Today, we're going to talk about the Idaho student murder case. We're not going to be breaking down this case, but we are talking about the story, essentially, and just a lot of our own thoughts and opinions about it.
If you want a case breakdown, visit one of our previous episodes. I think it was episode 51.
I think so, yeah.
Almost exactly a year ago today, we covered this episode from a Peacock documentary on it. So.
Yes. So there's a couple different documentaries on this case. The first one, as you mentioned, was the Idaho student murders on Peacock.
Correct.
Which was an interesting one. I actually ended up rewatching that before this episode, and I kind of didn't like it as much.
I know why.
It was like really just like friend based, and I was like, why? Like, there wasn't any family in it.
So that's the point. That's the corner that I took in this whole Idaho student murders recap. I compared the two documentaries.
Interesting.
I basically took, because we also watched the Netflix documentary called The Idaho Murders, A College Nightmare, which is a 3-part series that's out on Netflix right now. It is also covering this case because of the new
information
changes in Bryan Kohberger's.
Correct.
Kohberger's.
BK.
Yeah.
That's what everyone's calling him. So in the first one, he pled guilty to the to avoid the death penalty in Idaho.
Right.
Which in Idaho is crazy. They have death by firing squad.
Isn't that great?
Which is
you can choose
bizarre.
That. They don't pick it for you. You can choose it.
Anyway, so he chose that, and to avoid getting that, ended up getting sentenced life in prison.
Yeah, he got 10 life sentences.
Yeah, and just recently on July 2nd, he sent a petition into the court to withdraw his guilty plea and to reopen his case. So it's going to go to trial again, I'm assuming. To reopen that, and the judge granted that. So they are going to probably reopen that, I believe.
That'll be interesting to follow along.
Yeah, like the switch. So his reason for saying that now is that his lawyers kind of like pressed him into pleading guilty initially.
Right.
Which I could probably see. They probably thought he would have had a better... I don't think he would have had a better chance if it had gone to trial at the first time anyways.
Versus now.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Almost. Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be like worse for him now.
Right.
Than the first time.
Because we've talked about this before in a couple other cases. Like, how do you find an unbiased jury? I mean, are you kidding me? There's like 3 documentaries on 3 huge streaming platforms. There's all of the social media sway that this case has had. It's going to be hard for him to try and, because I'm sure there's people that are there for both sides, but it'll be hard to get impartial people.
Right. Something I've noticed throughout is like he himself has not like had a statement publicly. He has not like said, I didn't do it or I'm innocent. Nothing like that has come out of his mouth this whole time, which I find kind of strange I don't know about you. I just find that strange only in that, like in past situations where someone is on trial or whatever facing a murder case, you know, they typically
try to defend themselves.
Yeah.
Well, they probably don't want him defending himself because they don't want him like outing himself or something like that. They probably just don't want him to be up there because they don't want him to be cross-examined and then cut to pieces or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of situations where they don't let the bad person speak on behalf of their why or their motive, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Also, there wasn't anybody on Bryan's behalf speaking like for him in any of these, like no family.
Right.
No, you know what I mean?
No witnesses saying that, you know, oh, well, he's got this weird snowy vision thing.
Right.
He's crazy.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Which is wild. The snow, what was it called? The visual snow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which he was diagnosed with, which I guess is like static that you see all the time.
That'd be weird. That'd be hard to
like, so you're seeing things, yeah, like as we all see things, but like through like a haze of static.
Ugh.
That would probably be like pretty annoying.
Yeah.
To deal with.
I can't imagine.
But is there not like treatment for that?
I don't know.
There were some like interesting things when I was kind of watching both of these and comparing things throughout like the cases from like on the scene, you know, like I noticed there was a lot of like traffic in the house initially. Like when the cops first got there, of course, they were addressing and trying to figure out what the hell was going on, you know? And I think there was a lot of possible contamination that may have happened throughout there. And the only reason I say that is because I did watch like this other like little YouTube thing, and he was kind of breaking down the like that part of the case, you know, and like the blood evaluations that they had and like the fingerprints and stuff like that, and like the footprints and stuff. But like there were so many footprints, they couldn't like differentiate what was what. And they weren't going to like test all of those footprints and rule it out, which was kind of shitty, essentially, you know, because it's like they could have taken maybe possible better time. Not that that would have changed anything, but there could have been other DNA there, possibly. Because this YouTube channel, I'll drop his little thing over here, but he was basically saying that there could have been possibly another, either Bryan and somebody else or somebody else completely. And the reason he was saying that was because there was something that had happened, or during the investigations, there was fingerprints found on like that back sliding glass door. And there was, I guess, some bloody fingerprints. Well, I guess during the investigation, when they scanned those fingerprints or whatever, they weren't able to get like an exact match to Bryan. But then who the hell's fingerprints were they? If it wasn't Bryan's and it was a bloody fingerprint. And that wasn't something that was very like public, but like if you deep dive into like all the case notes, and he was like showing all the screenshots of all of the case notes and everything and breaking down like what everything meant, which was really kind of cool. But that was something interesting that I listened to on the back end, and I was like, and then thinking about that after watching those two, I was like, I could totally see how there could have been like maybe some contamination there with the crime scene, with everyone kind of coming in and out, you know, the freaking girls, the roommates, the two survivors, Dylan and Bethany, they were in there for like 8 hours from when the time the guy left to when they called 911. Right. So like, who knows what happened in that 8 hours? Like nobody really knows. Their phones weren't active, but were they sleeping that entire time? Like what were they doing during that time? You know what I mean? Like that's a weird question that came up in my brain. And I was like, what the hell? Like, where's that time accountability? You know?
Well, because didn't one of the roommates spot a dark, mysterious figure, and they told him that they were going to, that he was going to take care of them or something like that? That the killer or the dark, mysterious person said that they were going to like, don't worry, you're okay, or something like that, and then sent them back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that dives a little bit into people's kind of like flight or fight response. Gotta slow it down there. I mean, because maybe they didn't know what was going on down there. So they just stayed in one little corner all scared and huddled up together, because didn't the two female roommates go like meet up in one room?
Yeah, there was one on the main floor, and then one was like on the second floor, and then I think there was a 3-story house, and I think the third floor was one of the other victims.
Right.
And the second floor girl, Bethany, I think ran down to Dylan's room, and then later on, but like I just got stuck on what the hell happened during that time frame.
Right.
Because there was such a short window from when Zaina ordered DoorDash to when there was an intruder to when the girls were texting was all within a very short time frame of like 4:12 a.m. and whatever the exact time was, like 4:17 or something like that. Like it was a super, super short window. 4:12 and 4:17. Yeah. And then from 4:17 to 4:30, like in between that time frame is when Dylan and Bethany start texting. And Dylan tells Bethany in the text that she sees someone in the house. And she's like, come to my room. And then she goes down there. But like also why I know fight or flight, like I understand that that's a thing, but I still have a hard time wrapping my head around like someone not being able to call 911 at that moment. Like I think there was someone just in my house. Can you guys please come check? Like could have been nothing, but could have been peace of mind at that time. Could have given them the chance to have maybe caught the person, like you just don't know what could have happened, how things could have changed. Lives I don't think would have been saved at that time, but maybe it could have led them to the person faster if by chance it wasn't Bryan, hypothetically.
Right.
Right. Or if it is like a proven fact, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I thought that was just really strange to me. Like I hung up on that. I was like, I can't understand why they didn't call 911 for 8 hours during that time frame.
Right.
I know they were drunk and they're college kids and they were having, it was the end of the night and everyone's winding down from the party. Like I totally get that. I do. I really, really do. I was a teenager once, get it.
Right.
However, when shit feels weird, like you have to act on that. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know, maybe people just don't have that like switch in them. And because I do, I have a hard time understanding like how people don't like respond,
want to act,
or like if I was Bethany and I heard weird shit going on in my roommate's bedroom upstairs and I didn't hear from her, like I heard noises and then didn't hear noises and then tried to like text her and then no response, like I would 100% go check, and these girls didn't check. Like nothing happened for that time frame. And I'm like, that to me is fucking wild. Like even if you are drunk at 4 a.m., I feel like they just like passed out, like drunk passed out, and then probably just woke up and was like, what the fuck happened? Like, did that shit really happen last night? That's probably how it was, which is a very hard realization probably for people to understand, even including myself,
right?
Because I'm like, what the fuck? Like I've been in drunken situations before where I'm like, what the fuck happened? But like, I've also been in bad situations under the influence and I've acted on those situations.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I understand both sides to an extent. I don't know.
It's hard.
It's really hard.
Because you're like, you were in the house.
Yes.
With your dead roommates for hours.
Yeah. And like nope.
After you didn't hear anything, you didn't go check on them?
Right. You called your other guy friend to come over.
Yeah.
Instead of the police. Like that was their first call instead of the police, which is weird to me. I'm not saying that like they had anything to do with it. I'm just saying it's weird. It's something that stuck out to me as weird.
Well, and you think a lot about a college house and how, I don't know. I don't think they're very secure. Like college kids thinking about home security, I don't think is a sentence that really like ties itself together very often.
Yeah.
Because like, why were there no locked doors? Why?
Well, Dylan said, she's like, yeah, it's normally my responsibility to lock the sliding glass door, but I know I didn't do it that night. So she was drunk enough that night to know that she didn't lock the door, but
but
not able to respond in a situation.
911.
Yeah.
Just to help them out. I mean, I had a creep in my closet and I called the cops and they came and got the creep out of my closet.
Right.
But like, I mean, again, we have that I need to fix this gene.
Yeah. I'm not running from the danger.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. That was wild to me. How do you think like the police overall like handled the situation? Like, do you think that they did a good job at the investigation? Do you think that, like, in your opinion, there was anything they could have done better? Like, do you think that they jumped straight to Bryan as the alleged suspect? Or do you think that they took him like quickly as a suspect versus looking into other people at all?
I really have no notes on that. I don't think that they really failed or performed well in the investigation. I just think that's how they came to that conclusion. I mean, unfortunately, Bryan's biggest condemning piece of evidence is the DNA on the sheath of the knife. They don't have the knife, but like if the sheath wasn't a part of evidence, probably Bryan wouldn't be so obvious for a suspect.
Yeah.
Because all they really had is like the sheath and the cell phone records of him driving around the place, and that's really all they have on him. But the sheath is
also just like touch DNA, which is not like.
I mean, he's from another college 10 miles away, and so like,
you know, like I don't know. It's just weird, like because someone had brought up like that there were thousands of white Elantras.
Yeah,
in the area.
A white Elantra is a very cost-effective car, and so I can imagine there being a lot of those between two college campuses 100%. That are 10 miles or 10 minutes away from each other. Yeah.
Yes, but like because that one cop happened to see one at Washington State University, and through their investigations, you know, and the cell phone and the trace DNA, they determined that they feel it is Bryan.
Right.
But what happened to the other like 1,000, like that happened pretty quickly. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't a lot of time in between when things happened and when Bryan got arrested. It was only a couple months.
Right.
Maybe even less than that.
You hope it happens that quickly.
You know, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that is a quick time frame, but like sometimes it's quicker, sometimes it's longer, whatever. But like to me, that happened relatively quickly in an investigation like that when they didn't have a lot of leads to go off of initially, except for that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I mean, I understand them wanting to like, you know, grasp onto something, but was it like, did they jump into Bryan too quickly? Do you think?
I mean, consider Bryan's past, his current job at the college, like
all of those things.
I don't know, he kind of fits the profile a little bit.
I know. You know, I have a funny thing. I have like, weird Bryan things on my notes.
She's got a whole list.
No, he was strange. I'm not like trying to defend him. I'm just, you know, playing devil's advocate on different things, you know, and like just trying to look at the whole scenario from a bunch of different sides, you know, because everyone has a different perspective and or theory. You know, there's tons of different theories out there on the social lands, you know, on this case.
To see what he says during his trial.
So curious. Yeah. Because he is.
I mean, he admitted guilt.
Yeah. So it's going to be hard.
It gets hard to unsay, whoops, sorry, no, I didn't do that.
Yeah. I want to know, like, where's the knife? Because that was never found. You know? Not that matters, but, like, it would be nice if we could figure out where that was at. It would probably help the people. You know? It'd probably help the case. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts in general on the case?
No, I took it as an approach as like what Netflix covered versus what Peacock covered. Peacock really kind of put Bryan Kohberger as the main character of their documentary series. Peacock did a really good job on doing this as a documentary, to where Netflix really focused more on who were the victims.
Yeah.
Versus doing your typical docu-series where like, here's what happened, here's how the police forensically found the guy that they suspected did the crime, right? That's kind of how Peacock's layout is, to where In Netflix, they spent a lot of time on here are the friends, here are the families, here's a backstory on each one of these victims. Here's why this is very tragic that this happened to them. And here's a little bit of Bryan. Here's a little bit of the case. Here's the evidence that they have. And then here's how it's affecting the town. Here's how it's affecting the colleges. Here's how it's affecting,
like the little side stories.
Everybody in that area. So Netflix really made it more of like an emotional memoriam, to whereas Peacock just really kind of dribbled it down to just your typical true crime docu-series sort of thing.
Yeah. As I mentioned before, I didn't like the fact in the Peacock one that it was just mostly like the friend group. I'm like, why are they the ones that like came forward to do that? I mean, I hope they had the blessing of the family to do that. Otherwise, it just seems weird to me.
Why?
Because like, what if they, and this is going to sound really shitty, but I don't mean it. This is just a what if thought, right? Mm-hmm. What if they are capitalizing off of this story because they knew that if they went to Netflix and they're like, hey, we were really close friends with these people, we'd love to try to tell their story in this way. Can you help us? And Netflix was like, of hell yes, of course.
Right.
Because there wasn't any family in that.
Because that was my next question. Is like, which documentary do I think more responsibly displayed the crime, told the story, if you will? And I mean, I think the Peacock series was pretty cut and dry. Yeah.
Well, and there was only like the friends, those girls, and then like the journalist and the brother of one of the victims.
Yeah. And that's really all that spoke.
Correct. But like,
to whereas
I don't know,
like
just
the Netflix series just focused more on the friends, the family, talked to a bunch of different people at the high school and moms and dads and aunts and uncles.
But it was good. It was nice to see like that side of it and like have family from the actual victims in that one. I just think that is like more genuine.
Because they didn't really make Bryan the point of the story.
Right.
They made the victims more the point of the story in the Netflix series.
Yeah.
So I had a little chart that I built about the two different series. Like out of 5, Peacock versus Netflix, how many stars would I have given Peacock or Netflix on investigation? For example, I would have given Peacock a 5 and Netflix a 4 because Netflix only did the friends and family stories versus Peacock was like, here's the evidence, here's forensic analysis, here's a bunch of like people, experts coming in and telling their side of the perspective of the story. Learning about the victims, I'd say Peacock would be about a 3, whereas Netflix would get a 5.
Yeah.
On that one. Emotional impact, Peacock would be a 3, Netflix would be a 5.
Yeah. For sure.
Evidence explained, Peacock I think would get a 5 on that one and Netflix would get a 3 because Netflix really didn't focus anything on the case. And then for like storytelling, I gave Peacock a 4 and Netflix a 5, and then rewatch value, I penned them both even. 4 and 4.
I mean, I don't think I would like rewatch these. I typically don't like rewatch a lot of true crime documentaries. Do you? Do you rewatch some of the stuff that we watch?
I mean, not on my own fruition. I rewatched a bunch of stuff today because we've already done this once before.
Yeah. Same. I meant just like in general.
No.
I don't either.
Why?
If I am trying to like watch something like for just like whatever general purposes, I try to choose something not true crime. But because I watch so much of it already.
True, right? I mean, I watched a lot of true crime before this, and I still pick it up when we're not talking about stories.
Yeah.
But if you had someone that wanted to know more about the Idaho student murders, which series would you recommend? Would you recommend they watch the Peacock or the Netflix flick?
That's tough. Well, that's tough because like the outcome in both of them is kind of different.
But it's the same story.
Yeah, it is. I would say probably the Netflix one.
That makes sense. I would say the Peacock one because it's more evidence-based.
Yeah, that makes sense for you to like choose.
Direct documentary to where Netflix is a tearjerker.
More emotional.
Yeah.
Do you think that any of the victims were targeted? I know that had come up as a theory in some of the documentaries. Do you think that there was anything like that?
No, I think he just wanted to kind of scratch an itch, and that's the opportunity
them, though?
he took.
Like, how did he even
because college house security is nil. Are you kidding me? He probably cased the joint for a little while, figured out that house has a ton of people running through it at all hours of the night, and picked the right one. I wonder if he was at
one of the parties one night or something.
Probably. I mean, he was a teacher's assistant in just the town over at the college over there.
Because it's just weird. I don't understand his motive.
Yeah, no one does.
Yeah, no one understands the motive.
It's the whole reason why he took the guilty plea, so he didn't have to tell anyone.
Right. And so that's why I'm like, how, now that he reopened or is trying to reopen his case, how, I just going to be so crazy to see how that plays out.
Mm-hmm.
And is it still going to take place in Idaho then, right?
I imagine so. Or
wherever they moved
whatever jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Or maybe they moved it to get an impartial counsel, jury.
I think maybe. The first time I know that they had moved it because they're like, we can't have this in Moscow.
Right.
Idaho, because
people want to burn him at the stake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had to move it. So also something that was interesting to me was during the investigations, when they were looking at some of the bodies and stuff, they had said that Zaina had a lot of she had put up a really good fight.
Right.
And
they said both girls had defensive wounds.
Yeah. And so, I mean, obviously they didn't catch Bryan right away, but I just feel like, that person, there would have been, that person would have had marks on him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it just, I don't know. Not that anything would have changed, but I just feel like that was an important thing of would anybody notice anybody in the area that was walking around with fucking scratches all over their face a few days after that incident?
How do we know she scratched his face?
Or wherever, you know what I mean?
If you're going in to do something that you've been studying to do forever, I'm sure you walked in pretty armored up.
Yeah, possibly.
I mean,
maybe.
Defensive wounds, because consider this as a stabbing, right? So if someone's going to come up and stab me, I'm going to put my arms up, right? And so if they start stabbing at my hands and my arms on the underside, right, that shows that I put up a defense, right? The defensive wounds or her putting up a fight could also mean, of course, like you said, there's DNA and stuff under her fingernails where she's scratching faces and taking samples there. Because, again, like you mentioned, this happens in a tiny time window. There's really not a lot of time to clean up the crime.
Right.
So I think in this case, the defensive wounds were more trying for them to defend themselves in a passive manner versus an active manner of scratching, biting, kicking, flailing.
I didn't think of it like that because I'm I know how I would react, and I would also be trying to hurt the MFer that's trying to stab me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I would assume that the perp would have some marks on him.
Right. I'm sure he's got some bruises under his clothes sort of deal. But again, you can conceal a bruise with makeup or sleeves or whatever else.
Well, he obviously didn't have any marks on his face because he posted that cute little selfie after.
Yeah, that's right.
Which was weird that he was even smiling in it because he never smiled.
Well, I mean, he also shut off his phone during the suspected time that all these people passed away. And I mean, there's a lot of
there are
things that line up to say
there are for
this
sure.
Guy was definitely at least in the area when all this happened.
I wouldn't be surprised if there happens to be another person involved.
I wouldn't be either. Because 4 people in a matter of or 4 people, 3 people, 3 people in a matter of minutes. It's pretty quick.
Yeah. And I why not the other 2? Was he too tired? Did he think he was going to get caught?
Yeah, probably.
Did he, you know what I mean?
He didn't want to be greedy.
But he should know from his criminology, background and education, that like leaving witnesses is not ideal for someone who chooses to unalive people.
I mean, but he left witnesses and he's so far gotten away with it. Well, not really. He pled guilty to the whole thing.
Yeah, he just went to adult daycare and jail.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just weird to me that, like, not that I want them also to be a part of this, but like,
why not those two?
But like, it's a question that I'm sure everybody has asked also.
Well, I mean, especially since in theory he interacted with one of them, even.
Right? At one of
which also like makes you suspicious too. Like, did they know him, and like maybe had some weird little
interaction?
I want you to take my friends off this planet sort of deal, or. I mean, of course, they all played buddy-buddy on TV, but what was the real story?
I don't know. I feel like Bryan's going to come up with some whack-ass story. Like,
I'm sure he's probably going to blame it on his like visual impairment.
One of the girls or something. Mm-hmm. Or, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be some fucking wild story, probably.
Yeah. Dude, but cell phones are snitches. Like, out of both
any
stories,
technology.
Yeah, I was listening to, it's like, man... This thing knows where you are at, regardless of whether or not you want it to know where you're at. And,
correct.
The fact that he was clearing data out of it when they got his cell phone.
He was.
Just to kind of like hide his tracks. I mean, now I know that, I delete some things, but really that's really more for storage than it is for...
Yeah, I don't delete anything until I have to... My phone's like out of storage. I'm like, fuck! This is stressful.
Straight to messages. What attachments can I get
I know. Yeah, that is weird though.
Because that's one of the biggest indicators that he was in the area at the time of the crime.
Yes, but also in which I think it was the Peacock one, there's someone that's like, cell phone pinging isn't always like accurate.
Yeah, either. It's within a radius, right?
It's within a radius. You know what I mean? And like he had gone to, I don't know what the radius is that he was pinging.
Between cell phone towers, right?
But he was going to that town for like other things. But
then after the murders, he stopped going to that town.
He did. He did do that. Maybe just because he thought people would be like looking for him.
I mean, he even went back to that town at 9 a.m. the next morning. And my little like spidey sense was like, he's like, realizes he's got the knife, but he doesn't have the sheath. And so he was going to maybe run back in real quick and see if he could snag that last little piece. Because realistically, without the knife sheath, what do they have on him?
The trace DNA. Or no, they don't even have that.
If they don't have the knife sheath, they don't have anything.
No. And I'm pretty positive in that other little thing I watched on YouTube, they didn't find any other DNA blood samples or fingerprints in the house that matched
him. Right.
In the areas that they tested.
Right.
Well,
I mean, and it also doesn't help that the house went down shortly after the murders as well. But the owner of the house just demolished the whole thing.
Yeah, which is kind of a little bit sus because there could have been additional evidence in there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they could have
there might have been blood samples in there from him.
Correct.
In different areas that
they didn't because we've seen in other documentaries where they've re-looked at cars and situations,
cars and carpets and furniture
and found additional evidence at crime scenes. So that is possible. And I know the family was pretty upset when they demolished the house. I think also for that reason, they're like, can't we wait till after the trial? This was the first time, the first initial trial. Yeah. So I don't know, man. This is a wild one.
It's entertaining.
It is entertaining. Obviously, it's definitely all over, the socials and stuff.
Right, because he changed his...
Yes.
He's withdrawing his guilty plea.
Mm-hmm. I think, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Yeah. I'll probably follow along,
Well, yeah, now that we're this invested.
Yeah, we have to. we gotta do a follow-up episode when he starts his trial, maybe. we could follow along and give like little updates each episode.
See how it's going.
Do like a little BK update.
Nice.
Anyways, guys, if you have something that you'd like to say and join the conversation below, drop a comment. Please hit that like and subscribe. We do appreciate your support, and we are here every Thursdays at 7 p.m. in the live chat. We'll see you guys next week.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.